Welcome to today's flow, where we'll be looking at opening our hips. And we hold so much tension through the hips, not just physical, but also emotional. So as we open through the legs, and that works into our lower back as well, just keep mindful and aware of any release that you can feel going on, physical, but also maybe emotional. So we'll start laying down on our back with our eyes closed. Let's bend our knees, place the feet wider than your hips, and let your knees knock in together. And notice how that relaxes your pelvis totally. And the lower back is encouraged to rest against the earth in this position. And you feel the pelvis and the hips totally relax. Rest both your hands onto your lower belly. And quite simply, just feel yourself breathe right down deep into the belly. As you do, just notice how you feel today. So nothing fancy, nothing complicated. Just simply, how do I feel physically today? And you can use your breath as almost a sensor. As you breathe deeper and you feel your belly swell, just notice the space that resides around the hips, through the waist and the chest. Maybe you feel really congested today, really tight, tense, or maybe you feel really open. Just notice. Start to deepen your breath now. And you want to be able to hear one another breathe. And we're going to find our Ujjayi breath, which is really important when we work with our hips. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale as if you're steaming up a mirror. It's like you're making this H-A, ha sound. Again, inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Good. This time, breathe in through the nose. Close the mouth, but make that same sound as you breathe out. Good. 2 more like that. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. On your next inhale, bring your arms to cactus. So that's your elbows in line with your shoulders and your hands up in line with your elbows. Bring your feet as wide as your hips and start to windscreen wipe your legs side to side. So dropping them to the left, over to the right. And there's no effort required here. You let them flop to one side and then over to the other. Welcoming the spine into the practice this morning. One more time each side. Inhaling to center. Exhale, drop them over to the other side. Bring them back to center with a big breath in. Exhale totally. On your inhale, draw your knees into your chest. Hold on to your shins. And as you breathe out, bring your head up to your knees and squeeze into a tiny ball. Inhaling here. Exhale, relax your shoulders. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. We're staying up here for 3 more breaths. And as you press your shins into your hands, notice how that flattens your lower back onto the ground more. 2 more breaths here. And just notice how the jaw is. Your jaw and your pelvis are energetically connected. So when we relax our jaw, we have the opportunity to relax the hips. 1 more breath here. As you exhale, lay flat back down to the earth. Take hold of the outside edges of your feet for happy baby pose. And if that's too much of a reach, you can hold behind your knees And wherever you are, it's this feeling of plugging the shoulders back to the earth, stacking feet above knees, and then pulling knees down towards the armpits. Stay here. I invite you to bring any movement in that feels good, or resting in stillness, just listening to your body. One more breath here. Come back to stillness. Bring your feet to meet in midair like a butterfly pose, soles of the feet touch. And now we connect those two last poses. So you bring your head up towards your feet towards your head, and you press your knees out wide. So it's a reclined butterfly. Keep your shoulders compressing away from your ears. Breathe in here. And as you breathe out, see if you can encourage the two closer together. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Lower yourself back down to the earth. Release the feet to the ground, knees pointing up to the ceiling. And rest here. Do absolutely nothing. And just notice the sensation around your lower back and your hips. Relax into the earth. Feel the earth rising up to support you. One more breath here. And draw the knees into the chest on the next inhale. Bring your head back up to your knees. Place your hands behind your thighs and start to rock forwards and backwards on your spine. Coming back and up, feel each vertebra roll across the mat, making it smooth. One last time here. Inhale back, exhale, catch yourself in boat pose, Navasana. So you might keep hold of the thighs, drawing them into your chest. Or you can start to release your hands, point your toes, engage the core, and then maybe you might straighten the left leg, bend the left, straighten the right, come back to center, and there's that final option to straighten both legs, warming up the core, breathing in here. As you breathe out, lower yourself down just before you touch the earth. Bring yourself back up. Inhale. Exhale all the way back down. So beautiful. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, lower yourself down, hold, engage through the fingers and the toes. Shaking is good. Bring yourself all the way up, cross your shins and come onto all fours. And if that doesn't work, you can spin your legs around to one side. Make sure your hands are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. And we come through cat-cow. So on your inhale, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Stay here for an extra breath and feel as though you're dragging your hands back towards you, and you'll be able to thread your heart through your arms more. Exhale, reverse. Pressing up into cat stretch, inflating between your shoulder blades. Hold here. One more breath. It's as if you're trying to connect forehead to pelvis. Good. And then we move with your breath. Inhale, look up. Dip the belly button to the earth. Exhale, round into your cat stretch. Good. 3 more rounds like this. As you look up, feel as though you're sliding your shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, feel as though someone has their hand on your back and you're trying to press up into it as much as possible. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Last time, on your inhale, look up, come into your cow. As you exhale into your cat stretch, press into the tops of the feet so firmly that the knees might start to hover up off the ground. Breathing in here. And as you breathe out, we're going to meet in downward facing dog. You could press up from here and then roll the toes over, or you can drop the knees and come up from that way. Good. Start to pedal through your feet. Left heel to the earth, right heel to the earth. And tune into this feeling of wrapping your arms inwards so the elbow creases are facing forwards towards the front of the mat. Good. Spreading all 5 fingers as wide as you can get them. Still breathing so your partner can hear you. Good. Come to stillness. Press your heels firmly down to the ground. If it feels too much or if your spine starts to rock forward, then you can bend the knees. One more breath here. Inhale, exhale, press your hands into the earth like you're trying to rip the mat away from you. And on your next inhale, come through to plank pose, rounding as if you're in cat stretch, and then dropping the knees to the earth, untucking the toes, bending your elbows and lowering yourself all the way down onto the front of the body. Keep your hands where they are. Inhale, lift to cobra pose halfway. Exhale, chest back down, press it back to child's pose, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So when we take a vinyasa, a chaturanga, that is the modified option, which you're welcome to take at any point. Good, staying here, 2 more breaths, a moment to recenter, to regather, and notice where your thoughts are running away to. Listen to your breath to keep the mind present. On your next inhale, sweep your right leg up high. Bend the knee and open the hip. So that's a feeling of stacking right hip on top of left, as if you're yawning the hips open. Look under your left arm for your right big toe, and that will help you square the shoulders. Good. And of course you'll feel this down the back of the left hamstring, but see if you can tune in to the feeling on the inside of your right hip bone. And that's your psoas muscle. Breathe in here. As you breathe out, come through plank pose and step your right foot between your hands. And if it doesn't quite get there, help it along its way with your hands. Drop your left knee to the earth. Sweep your arms up high. Untuck your left toe. Exhale, hands to your heart. Feel as if someone is lifting you out of your pelvis, and as you do, you'll find that that lower back curve comes out slightly. Breathing in here. As you breathe out, tuck the tailbone underneath you and start to lean back and feel that stretch radiate down your left thigh. So great. Either looking ahead or maybe starting to look up. Make sure your shoulders are driving down the back, still listening to the breath, still present. One more breath here, big inhale. Exhale, pull your navel back to your spine. That initiates the movement to bring your hands to frame the right foot, tuck the left toes underneath you, and draw that right arm up. Left knee is either down or lifted. Good, so beautiful. Pressing back into your left heel, holding it here, or if you feel there's more space through the spine, leaning further back into that right arm, twisting from that bra strap area, mid-back, and trying to open your heart to the ceiling. Really nice. One more breath here, inhale. As you exhale, take your time to float that right hand back down to the outside of the right foot like a feather. It's light and slow. Lift the hips up high and step the right leg back to meet the left. Straight onto the other side, left leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. And notice if your right toes are trying to push you up higher. Let the right heel sink towards the earth. Feeling the stretch in the right leg and through the left hip. Look under your right arm for your left big toe. One more breath here. Exhale like you're working through honey or syrup. Take your time to step the left foot between the hands with square hips now. Drop the right knee to the ground. Engage the core and bring your arms all the way up and overhead. Melt them down to your heart. Feel as though you have a rod in your spine lifting you out of your pelvis. Tuck the tailbone underneath you, and then you can lean back, looking just up for now, or if that's too much for the neck, looking ahead of you. So beautiful. Breathing in, sliding your shoulder blades down your back. Notice where your mind is running away to. Bring it back to the breath. Last one, inhale. Exhale, squeeze the core, bring your hands either side of the left foot. Lift the right knee or keep it down, and then draw your left arm up high. Inhale. Good, staying here for 3 breaths. Leaning back into that left arm if you feel like there's the space. Good. And really pressing your right thigh up towards the ceiling. Good, and it might feel as though that right hip comes a little higher. So sometimes it's not always about the depth, it's about keeping the level of our hips. One more breath here. Exhale, float that left hand back down to the ground. Take your time, lift the hips, and step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathing in. Let your heels sink to the earth, breathing out. On your inhale, flow through to plank pose, but take your time. Come onto your toes, round through your shoulders, concave the chest. And then either drop the knees or come through chaturanga, bending the elbows, lowering down halfway, rolling over the toes and meeting either in cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, drop the knees and take your time to press back to child's pose. And as you do, feel that reverse curve in your lower back, the articulation of the spine. A moment to regather, a moment to recenter, getting everything you need from that inhale, that nourishing breath. Good. One more breath down here. Flow through tabletop, tuck the toes, lift it to downward facing dog. Pressing so firmly away with your hands, it's as if you're ripping your mat in half. Glide your right leg up to the ceiling, inhale. Bend the knee, open the hip. As you exhale, drive your right knee across your body and over to your left elbow through plank pose. Good, and then taking it back up and open. Exhale again, right knee, left elbow. Inhale, back up and open. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, hold. Good, extend that right leg off the left side of the mat, stay here. Or you can draw your left arm up high for fallen star. Breathing in here, breathing out, one more breath. As you exhale, bring the left hand back down to the ground and drive that right leg right back up and open. Hip is yawning, stacking right hip above the left. Good. Exhale, step the foot between the hands, rising straight up to high lunge. Just making sure that your right knee isn't knocking in or out, sitting directly over your ankle. Beautiful. Inhale. As you exhale, drop your left heel and open the arms, warrior two. Good. Catch your breath. Feel as though you're pressing into the outside edges of your feet to externally rotate your thighs. Good, looking over your right middle finger to keep your focus. One more breath here. Flip your right palm, inhale. As you exhale, reverse your warrior, finding space between each rib on the right side. As you exhale, straighten the right leg, triangle pose. Right hand rests on the shin or coming down towards binding the right big toe. Draw your left arm back, look to your left middle finger. Good. And it's this feeling of trying to lean back on a wall behind you, being as streamlined as you can be. Good, one more breath here. As you exhale, bend back into your right knee. Use your inhale to scoop back to reverse warrior with that right hand. Exhale, pivot on the heels, facing back to lunge pose, hands to the heart. And frame the foot with the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Vinyasa, flowing through to plank, dropping the knees or coming all the way down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Squeeze your shoulders back, drop your hips. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more like this, inhale, exhale. Use that next inhale through the nose to lift the left leg up high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Beautiful. As you exhale, bring your left knee to your right elbow. Take it back up high, bend the knee, open the hip. 2 more like that, so beautiful. And feel this fire that we're starting to build in the belly. And it's this fire that burns away the cobwebs that we hold on to. Good, 1 more time. Lift the leg up high, bend the knee, open the hip, step the foot between the hands. Come straight up to high lunge. Good, holding it here, feeling this warrior-like quality, so fierce, but this elegance as well. As you exhale, drop that right heel and open up, warrior 2. Good. Externally rotating your thighs, feeling the space across the hips. Good, flip the left palm, reverse the warrior, inhale. Take a big breath in with you. Find space in that left side of the body. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Come to triangle pose, left hand to shin, right arm up high. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. 1 more time here. Exhale, bend back into your left knee. Scoop the left hand back up along the earth. Reverse the warrior. Good. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the earth. Draw your left knee into your chest, hold it here, and then thread it across the body to the other side of the mat, and reach your right arm up high for fallen star. Good. Lift the hips as high as you can, breathing in, breathe out, take it back, downward facing dog. Flow through chaturanga, knees, chin, chest, but wherever you are, make sure you can still breathe. Upward facing dog, cobra. Exhale, drop the knees, child's pose. Good. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Feel how your belly has limited space to breathe, and so you find that breath in your back body expanding to the ceiling around where your kidneys are. 1 more breath like this, a big inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring yourself through tabletop pose. Drop your hips to the earth, keep your arms straight, and you'll find yourself in an upward facing dog. If that's too intense for your back, you can bend your elbows. Tuck the toes underneath you, lift the knees up off the ground. Squeeze your core and come to plank pose from here. Breathing in. As you breathe out from your plank, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Beautiful. Drop your right knee to the ground. Draw that left arm up high. Untuck the right toes. Good. Exhale, bring your left hand back on the inside of your left foot. And stay here for lizard pose. Either resting as we are, if this feels good, or you might drop down onto your forearms. And the final option is to lift that right knee up off the ground and bring a little more yang back into that pose. Good. Wherever you are, try and keep your hips square, dropping them down equally together. Good. 1 more deep breath down here. Let's meet back up on our hands, straighten the arms, guide your left leg back to plank, keep the foot hovering. Good. Bring left knee to right elbow. Extend the leg off the mat again. Reach the right arm up high. Hold it here. Final option in our fallen star to lift your left leg up off the ground. Good. Breathing in. Breathe out. Bring it back. Downward facing dog. Flow through to plank pose. Drop your hips to the ground. Find yourself in upward facing dog. Good. And then lift the hips and come back to plank pose. Drive your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Drop the left knee to the ground or keep it lifted, coming down for our lizard. Breathing in, breathing out, sink a little deeper. Find your breath, 1 more here. Come back up onto your hands. Draw the right arm up and open. Look to your right middle finger. As you exhale, bring your right hand back on the inside of the foot. Lift your left knee up and guide that right knee into your chest, across the body. Thread it over the left side of the mat and find your fallen star. Option to hover that right foot up off the ground. Yes, so beautiful. Breathe in here. Breathe out, take it back to plank. Take a vinyasa, knees, chin, chest, or rest in child's pose. Your choice entirely. Upward facing dog. Drop the knees, child's pose. Good. And just notice the rhythm of the body now. Perhaps it's quicker. Perhaps your breath is running away with you, or maybe it's shallower. See if you can take back control by breathing mindfully. One last breath down here. On your inhale, reach your hands as far away from you as you can. Flow through tabletop, press up between your shoulders. Drop your hips to the earth, find yourself in an upward facing dog modification. Tuck the toes underneath you, lift the hips up off the ground, and take it as slow as you can back to your downward facing dog. If that feels too much in the lower back, drop the knees and come from child's pose. Lift your right leg high, inhale. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. Rise up to lunge pose. Drop the left heel, warrior two. Flip the right palm, reverse the warrior, inhale. As you exhale, bring your right forearm to your right thigh, extended side angle, and reach that left arm overhead. One long line from your left heel to your left middle finger. Good. And feel as though you're pressing so firmly into that right arm that your right ear and your shoulder have so much space from one another. Wrapping your left rib cage around your back, trying to reveal as much of your left armpit to the ceiling as possible. Good. One more breath here. As you exhale, draw it back, warrior two. Bring the hands behind you. Now turn your hips to warrior one. That means squaring the hips to the top of the mat. And if it feels too tight, then you can walk that right foot wider. Give yourself space to turn the hips. Lift the heart, look up, reach your hands away from you. Exhale, bow forward for humble warrior. Body slides on the inside of that right thigh. Arms hang overhead. Good. When things start to get tough and that thigh starts to burn, breathe deeper. Match the intensity with your breath. Beautiful. One more here. Inhale. Exhale, totally down here. Use your inhale and engagement around the core to bring yourself up just to look forward. Straighten that right leg, squaring the hip bones to the front of the mat. Option now to bow forward into your triangle. But if you feel as though you have more space in the hips, then you can lift that left heel up off the ground. Bowing down, and maybe the arms hang overhead. If that's too much of a balance, rest your fingers on the earth. And if the hamstring feels too intense, take a bend into the right knee. Wherever you are, make sure it's a place you can breathe. It's okay to change your mind once you've chosen where you are. Good. One more breath here. Exhale, bend into the knee, bring the hands to the earth. Step it back, downward facing dog. Option to lift the right leg for 3-leg chaturanga, or coming through your normal chaturanga. Lowering yourself down, rising to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Lift your left leg high, breathe in. Step the foot between the hands, breathe out. Rising up and fanning straight open, warrior two. Good. Flipping the left palm, reversing the warrior. Exhale, left forearm to left thigh, right arm overhead. Extended side angle. Good, engaging navel back to core. Beautiful. Pressing into that right foot and the little toe edge of it. Good. One more deep breath here. Good. Bring yourself back up, warrior two. Squaring your hips now into warrior one. Walking that left foot out further if you need to. Interlacing the hands behind you, lifting your heart. Breathing in. Take your hands away from your back. Breathe out. Bow forward for humble warrior. And notice here, if you are sticking your left glute out, keep it tucking into the midline of your body. Good. Really nice. Beautiful breath. Last one. Inhale, engage the core, bring yourself up to what feels like a flat back. Straighten your left leg, feel as though you're growing through the crown of the head. And bowing forward from here or lifting that right heel up off the ground. And coming down for pyramid pose. Letting the head sink towards the shin, letting your arms hang overhead. Or bringing them down to the ground, and listen to your hamstring here. If it feels too much, take a micro bend. Beautiful. Tune into the sensation in your lower back and try and square your hips so you could rest a tray of drinks on your back and they wouldn't fall. One last breath here. Bending back into that knee, placing the hands to the earth, stepping back to plank, coming through chaturanga, 3 legs or 4, bringing yourself all the way down and flowing through upward facing dog. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Look forward, step or hop to the top of the mat. Roll up halfway, flat back, so feel as though you're trying to pull your head out of your shoulders. Exhale, bow back down. And release here totally, relax your neck. Good. Notice if your head is trying to be retracted back into your shoulders, let it rest out heavy. One more breath here. Inhale, bend your knees and roll up the spine, vertebra by vertebra. And when you get to the top, roll shoulders to ears. Exhale them back and down. Bring your feet to touch, ankles just 1 centimeter apart, big toes touching. Rise up onto your tiptoes. Now this might be enough here, squeezing the thighs together. Or we might lift the hands, and with it we lift the gaze. Looking to our middle fingers, learning to balance through sensation rather than always needing to see. Good. One more breath up here. You're all doing so beautifully. As you exhale, look ahead of you, bend your knees and start to come down to a toe squat. So your knees are going to shoot over your toes, different to chair pose. Bring yourself all the way down. Any knee problems, bring your hands to the ground and sink yourself to the earth. Good. Keep your toes pressing into the mat, lifting your heels high, shifting the knees forward until you're at this right angle with the body. Bring your hands to your heart. Bring your knees to separate here. And this might already be enough. You want to start to shift your weight back into your little toe edge of your foot. Staying here might be a beautiful hip opener for you. Or you might start to bow forward. As you do, your heels are going to touch. Your chest slides inside your thighs. You might hover the hands up off the ground. Or if you want to go deeper still, bring the fingers to the ground, coming onto a very light touch with your fingertips and dropping the crown of your head towards the earth. Good. Sitting your weight back into that little toe edge of your feet. Trust yourself. It's really hard to fall here. Good. Breathing into that barrel shape of your rib cage, feeling it expand around the back. And one more breath down here. Bring your hands to your heart, hover with a flat back. And then bring yourself all the way up, and as you do, really slowly bring your knees back to touch. Hold it here in a toe balance. Option to close your eyes. And you might look at something in front of you. Really visualize it, and as you close your eyes, imagine you can still see it through your eyelids. One more breath here. Open the eyes, and we're going to shoot ourselves quite quickly up to standing. If you've got low blood pressure, take it slow. Drop the heels, sweep the arms up high. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, look ahead of you. Exhale, hands to the earth. Either step or jump back to plank pose and take your chaturanga, knees, chin, chest. Or come to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg high, breathe in. Bend the knee, open the hip. Just noticing how this feels now compared to the beginning of the class. Maybe the same, or maybe you find a little more space. Step the foot between the hands. Rise up to lunge pose. And open up to warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Pivot on the heel, so both feet face the long left edge of your mat. Bow forward halfway, aeroplane arms, that's out directly from your shoulders. Lift up halfway more from there. Interlace your hands behind you. Bow forward, let your arms hang overhead. Good. And it's the same feeling here as downward facing dog. So it's as if you're trying to lift your sitting bones higher and then wider at the same time. Good, so lovely. Feel the blood flooding into the head. You might feel a swelling in the nasal passages. And now as you roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra, squeezing the navel back to the spine, feel that blood drain back down through the body, and imagine it takes with it any negativity, any congestion in the head. Reach the arms up high, star pose. Exhale, hands to your heart. Turn your right foot out 45 degrees. Start to bend into the knee and lowering yourself all the way down, lifting that left heel, pointing them to the ceiling or keeping the foot grounded. Beautiful. If this is too much, you are so welcome to bring your fingertips to the ground. And let your left hip rest heavy towards the mat. Good. One more breath here. We're going to come back through center and straight over to the other side. Hands to the ground. We'll try for the first time. Bring yourself through center. Turn your left toes out slightly. Walk yourself over to the left and spin your right toes up to the ceiling. If the balance is there, hands at your heart. Feel as though you're sitting upright. Imagine your spine is a telescope and you want to look from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Yes, Jess, beautiful. One more breath here. We're coming back over to the other side. Option to bring your hands down again, or keep them at your heart and stay low as you come through center and bring it all the way over to the right. Lift those left toes. Good, stay here. If this feels juicy, then you're perfect where you are. Otherwise, the right hand comes inside your right thigh. Press the hand to the earth and press the elbow into the knee and the knee into the elbow. And that will help you to twist as you look over your left arm. Good. Stay as you are, or the final piece of this pose's puzzle is to bind. So you wrap your right arm in front of your right shin, scoop the hand backwards, facing up to the ceiling, left hand comes around, and your fingertips might just touch. Good, so beautiful. One more breath here. Bring yourself through center. Try and bring it with a balance, so hands at the heart, but you're welcome to bring the hands down, of course. Turn the right toes up, find that beautiful open spine. Left hand on the inside of the left thigh, press the knee into the elbow. Look for your right middle finger. Nice. Find the bind if it's available. And it's all about your right shoulder. Draw that right shoulder back and you'll have more space. So nice. One more breath here. Exhale, come back to center, straighten both legs, hands in line with your feet, and pull yourself down into a wide leg forward fold. Good, and if the hands don't quite meet the earth, you can hold on to the shins. Beautiful. 2 more breaths down here. Sit your weight back into your heels more. Press your hands as if you're trying to press away from you, and you'll give yourself leverage to pull yourself deeper. 1 more breath. Exhale, turn your left foot to the back of your mat. Frame it with the hands and step it back to downward facing dog. Good. Hello. Come through to plank pose, chaturanga or knees, chin, chest, upward facing dog or cobra. Good. Take it back, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg high, breathe in, smooth as you can, light as you can. Step the foot between the hands. Rise up with your inhale, high lunge. Drop the right heel, warrior 2. Good. Straighten the left leg, pivot on the heel, face the long edge of your mat. Bow forward halfway. Come back up, interlace the hands behind you. Bow forward, let the hands hang overhead. Take a big breath out the mouth here. Let go of whatever you've churned up within yourself, within the hips, within the belly. Let it go. 1 more breath here. Good. Last flow, and then we bring it down to some deep stretches. Roll yourself up as your hands come back towards your bum. Rolling vertebra by vertebra, hands reach high, star pose. Close your eyes in star and try and be as wide as you could be. Enjoy that process of taking up space. Especially in the city, we try to be as small as we can be. Take up space and breathe into it. Imagine every cell of your body is breathing and the outline of the body is expanding on the inhale. 1 more breath here. Inhale, open your eyes, look up. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Turn your right foot to the front of your mat, pivot on your left, and you'll be in a lunge. Look over your right big toe. We're going to bring ourselves into warrior 3. So the options are to step halfway and then lift the leg from there. Or we can try to come from here. Use your core as the propulsion to bring yourself through as that left leg lifts, straightening the right leg and finding that capital T shape. Look ahead of your mat, but keep looking down so the neck is an extension of your spine. Very nice. Slowly bring yourself to standing. Bend your left knee and draw it up into the chest. Take hold of the shin and squeeze it in towards you. Find that proud chest. The collarbones are wide. As you exhale, you're going to take hold of the outside edge of your left foot with your left hand. And we're going to come into what feels like a balanced, half happy baby. So that foot eventually comes up and in line with your left knee. So this right angle pose. And if it doesn't quite get there, keep hold of the shin, but flex the foot. Really nice. Keep your eyes focused. Tune out of the environment around you. Stay as you are. This is already a beautiful hip opener. Or start to kick the leg at a slight diagonal and up towards the ceiling. Good. Really nice. Wherever you are, make sure it's a place where you can breathe. 1 more breath here. Bring the leg back into the chest, super slow. Draw the knee into the chest. Bring the left foot to the right thigh for tree pose. And that intensity that you are feeling in your right thigh and your right ankle, interpret it as a sense of grounding. And feeling as though the roots are bringing you down to the earth. So lovely. Enjoying this moment of clarity and peacefulness in the mind as we balance. One last breath. Bring your hands to your heart if they're not already there. Left knee in front of left hip. And drop that left foot super slowly. When you arrive, don't do anything. Just rest and feel as that intensity fades away and we feel lighter as a result. Sweep the arms up high, breathe in. Exhale, dramatic swan dive down. Lift the heart, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands to the earth, step or jump back to plank pose. Knees, chin, chest, chaturanga, wherever you are. Bring a big inhale with your up dog or chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Good. Left leg sweeps high, breathe in. Breathe out, step the foot between the hands. Bring the arms up high, inhale, melt the hands to the heart. Prepare yourself for warrior 3 by taking some of that curve out of your lower back, pulling your navel back to your spine, tilting forward, and that right leg might hover. Good. Using your left big toe like a thumb to grip you. And you want to feel as though your left nail is going white. That's how firm you're pressing onto the mat. Very nice, so lovely. Use your inhale to stand slowly, bringing your right knee into your chest. Wrap your hands around your shin. Squeeze it in, grow taller through the crown of your head. Bring your shoulders back together. Good. Taking hold with your right hand, the outside, the little toe edge of your right foot. Bring your left hand to your hip. Stay here or hold the shin if this already feels enough. Otherwise, we're trying to stack our right foot in line with our right knee. And then feel as though you're plugging back like a bow and arrow. And the elbow is on the inside of your right thigh. Breathing in. As you breathe out, open that hip wider and start to extend the leg. And maybe it's only an extra inch. Or perhaps that leg straightens all the way up at a diagonal. Wherever you are, breathe. So beautiful. One more breath. Come back to center. Bring right foot to left thigh for tree pose. Hands at your heart. And when we're in tree, we have very little bandwidth to think about anything else. Enjoy that focus and peacefulness. One more breath. Exhale, bring the knee in front of the hip. Melt the foot down to meet the left. And do nothing when you land, just feel it fade away. Good. Sweep the arms up high, breathe in. Last vinyasa, breathe out, bow forward. Halfway lift, hands to shin or to the earth. Exhale, hands flat, either step or jump back to plank. Take your chaturanga, knees, chin, chest. Upward facing dog. Separate your knees wide, child's pose. Send the hips back to the heels and rest the forehead on the earth. Good. Noticing the rhythm of the body now. Maybe a tiny bit slower from our focus and our balance work. Good. Roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra, dragging your hands back towards you until you're seated onto your heels. So if that's uncomfortable, you can sit onto a brick between your thighs to give you some height. Bring your knees in line with your hip bones. Bring your hands behind you, fingertips resting onto the earth. On an inhale, lift your heart, look up, and it's like there's helium in your chest. As you exhale, concave the front body, so round into the back body. Start to lean back and see if your knees might float up off the ground for an ankle stretch. Good. Knees drop to the earth, back curves, heart lifts. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, reverse. It feels a little bit like cat-cow. Good. One more time, knees down, heart lifts. Exhale, lead with your belly button to bring yourself forward. Bring your hands to tabletop. Step your left foot between your hands. Rise up, hands at the heart. Tuck tailbone underneath you. So just where we began at the beginning of today's class, but now we have the option of bringing it into a back bend. As you tuck the right toes underneath you, step the left foot a little further away. Bring your hands behind you. Lift your heart, what feels like out of your pelvis. And what I mean by that is as if you're tucking your tailbone under, and you'll be able to pull the head and shoulders further away. Keep sinking down into the hips and then leaning back through the chest, and you might find a beautiful heart opener as you drop the head back. Yes. Make sure you can breathe. Good, relax your jaw. One more breath here. Inhale, squeeze the core, bring yourself up. Bring your hands to frame the foot. Tuck your right toes underneath you, lift your right knee up. If you get sore kneecaps, place a blanket under your knees now, because this next one is really intense. You're gonna drop that knee back behind you, but a little further back, so you are in the longest split between your thighs that you can find. Flatten the right palm, draw your left arm up high. Stay here, or bend your right knee and catch hold of the right foot with your left hand. Good. Sink down into your pelvis and pull that right foot directly towards the right glute. Good. If you feel like you still have further to go, in the hips particularly, drop down onto your right forearm. And if you try it and you get there and you realize it's too intense and I can't breathe, it's okay to come out of it. Good. Breathing here. Last option. Kick your right foot away from you. Peel your left shoulder open, so keep hold of the foot and kick the foot back into the hand. Good, and you'll find now a back bend with the thigh stretch. Good. Looking over the left shoulder if you can. One more breath. Exhale, dissolve it back down, hands frame the foot, and step it back to child's pose. Good. Roll yourself up until you're seated on your heels. Good. Bring your knees in line with your hips and rise up onto your knees from here. Coming to camel pose, tuck the toes. Start to engage the pelvic floor, lifting what feels like pelvic floor towards your rib cage. Reach the arms up high, swim them around behind you. Option one, hold onto your lower back and use your hands to press your hips forward and then lean back through the heart space. Option two, drop your hands to your heels with the toes tucked. And the final option is to untuck your toes. Hold onto the heels from there, but make sure you're driving the hips back forward. Look forward, up, or all the way back if the neck feels clear. Breathing into your heart. Feel the qualities of your heart space flood your body. Gratitude, loving kindness. One more breath here. Engage the core to help you to come up without twisting. Bring your hands to the ground. Press into an easy cat stretch, rounding into the back body. Neutralize the spine, that's a flat back, and step your right foot between your hands. Rise up through the arms. Bring hands to heart. Tuck the tailbone underneath you. Tuck the left toes underneath you. Use that left leg to feel as though you're lifting out of the pelvis and then back bending from there, either keeping hands at heart or you can wrap them around behind you. Sink down into the hips and then lean back through the hands. And the more you press away with that right foot, the more space you'll find in your lower back. Good. One more big breath here. Exhale, bring your hands to frame the foot. Lift your left knee up off the ground. Slide it back further away from you. Good. Dropping the knee, lifting your right arm up high. Inhale. Staying here or bending the left knee, catching hold of the left foot with the right hand. Drawing it in towards the glute and stacking right shoulder on top of left, looking over right shoulder. Good. And if you feel like you've got more space, drop onto your left forearm. Good. And then the final piece is to keep hold of that foot, but start to kick it away from you. Find that back bend and lean back through the chest, look over the right shoulder. So great. Wherever you are is perfect for your body right now. Use your breath to soften in. Good, last one. Exhale, bring your hands back to the earth and send it back to child's pose. Good. Bring yourself on an inhale through tabletop. Tuck your toes underneath you and sit back onto tucked toes for a big toe stretch. If this is too intense for you, keep your weight forward on your fingertips. Otherwise, be as heavy as you can be into your sitting bones. And the more you release to gravity, so it's actually quite slouchy through the body here, the more you will feel this through the toes. And just have a look down and check that your little toe is in on the stretch as well. And if it's not, get hold of it and tuck it under. You could stay here or you might start to lean back. This is intense. Breathe through it. 2 more. Last one. Bring yourself forward, hands to the earth, untuck the toes, and tap the top of the feet on the mat. Good. Sit back to kneeling, close your eyes, rest your hands onto your thighs, and do nothing. Just observe the echoes of that stretch and those sensations in the body. Good. Bring yourself to tabletop. Cross the shins behind you or swing them around to one side. Come to seated. Butterfly pose as the last pose of our class. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees hang wide. Take hold of your shins. And to begin with, feel as though you're taking a cow stretch. So it's a bit of a back bend and you look up. And it's like you're trying to pull your legs closer to your chest. Exhale. Now we find a natural spine and we start to curve down. So variation B with a curved spine, bringing the head towards the feet. Resting here for 7 sweet breaths. Give up as much as you can to gravity and let it pull you deeper. Notice if the thighs are trying to protect you here. Maybe the hip flexors are gripping, maybe the glutes are gripping. On the end of your exhale, release and relax as much as you can. That's the powerful breath, the end of the exhale. Good. 3 more slow, full breaths here. Relaxing, releasing even more through the thighs. Good. Last one. Keep your eyes closed as you unravel the spine. Bring yourself up to seated and make your way down onto your back, laying flat. And using this as a moment of rebound, which is from our yin practice, which is where we observe the sensations of a stretch and let the body digest them. And maybe you feel as if there is so much space through the hips now that it's as if you have a pair of lungs in your hip flexors, in your hip joints, that you can breathe into. On the inhale, just like our lungs do, you feel the hips swell with the breath. And on the exhale, you feel them deflate and soften. Release any control with your breath now. Be as heavy as you can be into the earth. And ask yourself, how do I feel now? How do I feel now physically? And how do I feel now on a more subtle level, emotionally, maybe even energetically? And whatever answers come up for you, we're listening to them with a sense of curiosity, without judgment, without any need to fix and to change constantly. Relaxing the eyes, let them be heavy in the sockets. Relaxing the temples. Relaxing the cheeks. Relaxing the sinuses. Relaxing the mouth. Relaxing the teeth and the gums. Relaxing the space beneath your tongue. Relax the tip of your tongue, the middle of your tongue, the root of your tongue. And let this relaxation trickle down your throat. Feel the relaxation spread into the shoulders. And the shoulders feel pleasantly heavy to the earth. Watch as this relaxation trickles down the spine, relaxing each vertebra. And relaxing all of the organs in the torso. And finally, this relaxation comes into your pelvis and your hips. And you feel this sense of total release, utter spaciousness, totally relaxed. Totally relaxed. Start to visualize your body laying on this floor. Noticing the shape of the body, the clothes on the skin. And notice any sense of tingling in your palms or through the body. That feeling of being alive. Start to deepen your breath again, breathing into all of the space you've created today. Make the next inhale as deep as you possibly can, and exhale through the mouth. 2 more like that, being really brave with the exhale, breathing in. Last one. Welcome subtle movement back into the fingers and the toes. Work it into a full body stretch. Reach your arms overhead, point your toes. And when you're ready, roll onto the left side of the body and pause there. Taking a moment to reflect on the familiar and the unfamiliar of the time that you spent with your body today. Keeping your eyes closed, bring yourself up to seated with your legs crossed and your palms meeting at your heart center. Feel a smile in your mind and lightness in your body. Take a big breath into the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, bow your head to your heart. Namaste. Thank you guys.